In this video, I'm going to make a dish that's common for women and unusual for men. This is a Napoleon cake. In anticipation of our family celebration, the day we met, I decided to treat my wife to this little cake. I used to focus on cooking fish and meat dishes, and now I'm going to try my hand at making cakes. So let's get started. To make the Napoleon cake, we will need the following ingredients. 700 grams of premium flour, a pinch of salt, 1 egg, and 250 grams of margarine, preferably creamy. We will also need parchment paper to roll out the layers of the cake dough. To prepare the cream filling for the cake, we need exactly 450 grams of granulated sugar, 1 liter of fresh full-fat milk, 250 grams of unsalted butter, a packet of vanilla sugar, and 6 large eggs. In a large mixing bowl, we carefully sift the all-purpose flour using a regular kitchen sieve. Then we grate the chilled margarine into the flour using a coarse grater, dusting it with additional flour to prevent it from sticking together. Now, we need to crack a fresh egg into a small cup, add a pinch of fine salt, and beat it thoroughly with a fork until well combined. Additionally, ensure that all ingredients are at room temperature before starting the mixing process to achieve the best results. To begin with, we must carefully add an adequate amount of water to the cup, ensuring that it is filled to the brim. This step is crucial as it ensures that the mixture will have the right consistency. Once the cup is filled, we proceed to mix the water thoroughly, making sure that it is evenly distributed and well combined. After achieving a homogeneous mixture, we gently pour this liquid into the bowl containing the flour. It is important to pour slowly to avoid any spillage and to ensure that the flour absorbs the water evenly. Following this, we begin the kneading process. Kneading is a vital step that requires patience and precision. We must knead the dough until it reaches a firm consistency, which is essential for the dough to hold its shape. The dough should be firm to the touch, but should not adhere to your hands, indicating that it has been kneaded to perfection. This process, though seemingly simple, is fundamental in achieving the desired texture and quality of the dough. Now we need to wrap the dough in plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for half an hour. While the dough is cooling, let's prepare the cream. First, we take the milk, pour it into a pot, and heat it up. To begin with, we need to carefully crack open the eggs, one by one, into a large mixing bowl. It's important to ensure that no shell fragments fall into the bowl, as this could affect the texture of our final mixture. Once all the eggs are in the bowl, we proceed to whisk them thoroughly. This process involves using a whisk or a fork to beat the eggs until the yolks and whites are completely combined, resulting in a smooth, uniform mixture. Next, we add the sugar and vanilla extract to the eggs. The sugar will sweeten the mixture, while the vanilla adds a rich, aromatic flavor that enhances the overall taste. We continue whisking until the sugar is fully dissolved and the vanilla is evenly distributed throughout the mixture. After this, we incorporate 4 tablespoons of flour. It's crucial to sift the flour beforehand to prevent any lumps from forming in the batter. We mix the flour in gradually, ensuring that it is well integrated into the egg mixture. Meanwhile, we have been heating the milk on the stove. Once it reaches the desired temperature, we carefully pour 2 ladles of the warm milk into the egg mixture. This step is known as tempering, and it helps to gradually raise the temperature of the eggs, preventing them from curdling when added to the hot milk. We mix the milk and egg mixture thoroughly to ensure a smooth consistency. Now, we pour the entire egg mixture back into the pot with the remaining milk. We place the pot on the stove over low heat, stirring constantly. This is a critical step, as it prevents the formation of lumps and ensures that the cream thickens evenly. We continue to cook the cream until it reaches the desired thickness, which should be smooth and velvety. Once thickened, we remove the pot from the heat and allow the cream to cool. While the cream is cooling, We turn our attention to the dough. We unwrap it and roll it into a long, sausage-like shape. This makes it easier to divide the dough into equal portions. We aim to divide it into 7 or 8 pieces, starting by cutting it in half, and then dividing each half into smaller sections. Each piece is then rolled out on a sheet of baking parchment. We aim for a thin layer, approximately 2 millimeters in thickness. This ensures that the dough cooks evenly and provides a delicate, flaky texture. I use the diameter of the rolled out dough as a guide for my future pie, ensuring that it fits perfectly into the pie dish. To account for any shrinkage during baking, I cut the dough slightly larger than the intended size.
Everyone needs to understand the importance of this action. We place it on the paper and start rolling it out carefully, very gently, so that it gets as thin as possible.
Here's the layer rolled out. Now we can put it in the oven for baking. The baking time is about 6 to 7 minutes. In the meantime, while the first layer is baking, we can roll out the second one. I poked the first layer with a fork, so it puffed up a lot during baking. That's why it's necessary to poke holes with a fork to let the air escape. You can see that it really rose. That's why it's necessary to poke holes with a fork to let the air escape.
As you can clearly observe, you can see that it really increased significantly. A lot. We don't need that.
And we make punctures. After 7 minutes, we can take the layer out to make it beautiful and evenly round. We take some kind of template, like a lid or a sieve, and using a knife, while it's still hot, we trim off the excess. We take the layer out and place a new one here. Apply the sieve, and we can slowly start separating the layer from the paper. I gently run the knife along the edges so it doesn't break. We need to be very careful with them. Here's the nice layer we got. Don't throw away the pieces of the layer that are left after trimming. They will be used to decorate the whole cake. It's better to remove the layers from the paper while they're still warm, as they're less fragile and break less easily. To ensure the dough rolls out well, you should keep it in the fridge while you make the other layers.
Now let's take the electric mixer, a useful kitchen tool, and use it to cream the softened butter. This important step involves mixing at a medium speed until the butter becomes light and fluffy, which is crucial for the perfect texture.
Now add 2 tablespoons of cream and mix well, carefully, gently and thoroughly, ensuring everything is combined.
And beat well.
And now that we have meticulously prepared both the layers and the cream, we are ready to embark on the delightful process of assembling our cake. The first step in this process is to begin spreading the luscious cream between each of the layers. To do this, we carefully take about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the rich, creamy mixture and gently spread it over the surface of each layer, ensuring an even and generous coating. This step is crucial as it helps to bind the layers together and infuse them with flavor. Once all the layers have been assembled with cream, we turn our attention to the topmost layer. Here, we apply an extra generous amount of cream, creating a smooth and inviting surface. To add a touch of texture and visual appeal, we take the crumbs that were left over from trimming the layers and sprinkle them liberally over the top. These crumbs are made by crumbling the leftover layers by hand into small fine pieces, which we then use to generously coat the entire cake. This not only enhances the cake's appearance, but also adds a delightful crunch to each bite. This is how my Napoleon cake turned out, a masterpiece of layers and cream. Now the final step is to place the cake in the refrigerator for a minimum of 6 hours. This chilling period is essential, as it allows the cake to soak in all the flavors and achieve the perfect texture. Once the waiting time is over, we can finally indulge in this delicious creation and enjoy every bite of our homemade Napoleon cake.